It's a Bitcoin podcast. The only one that's making your money is you. Listen to the Bitcoin podcast. So hold on and listen to the Bitcoin podcast.
Yeah,
That is groovy.
It's so good. Full house.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bitcoin podcast. This is episode number. Look in the description. We do so many of these. I just lost track, and it is what it is. This is a special episode. So about once a year, and it's not seasonal, so there's no seasonality to this. We get visited by Griff Green. Griff, welcome to the show. For those of you that don't know Griff, so Griff has co-founded Giveth. If you don't know Giveth, look it up in the show notes. He's co-founded the Common Stack, Unicorn.eth, and also, kind of like, I guess his claim to fame. He helped lead the White Hat Group, secured at-risk funds representing roughly 10% of Ethereum total supply at the time during the DAO incident.
The DAO.
The DAO. So if you read the title and you got hooked and you're like, oh, DAO, new original DAO. What's that mean? Is that new original crispy? No. The DAO, the original DAO, we're going to run it back. Going for 20% this time. No, I'm kidding.
Wait.
What's up, Jeff?
I have a question, Griff. Unicorn.eth, you have that ENS?
Hell yeah, I do.
Were you organizing the folks at ETH Denver that one year when they were giving out unicorn masks and there was like some sort of unicorn meme coin and shit? Like
Meme
this?
coin? I don't think so. I mean,
I got this from some random dude.
If it was last year, yes.
Yeah.
If it was last year, yes, because Unicorn.eth, it's infrastructure for starting your own wallet, like a very safe wallet. And ETH Denver has their own Unicorn implementation. So the ETH Denver wallet, like if you got a ticket to ETH Denver, you're actually using our infrastructure. You have your little app.ethdenver.com. Behind the scenes, it's Unicorn.eth's like wallet infrastructure.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Okay, did not know that. Nice.
Yeah.
So Griff, welcome back. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back, man.
So this all stemmed from like a tweet that Corey shot out into the abyss of Twitter. Like, what was that 5-6 weeks ago?
Yeah, all came from me. That's what it is.
Yep.
That's all good.
That's where we got the idea.
He said, the DAO, run it back, right? And so here we are now. So I'm gonna give my perspective of the DAO, what happened all those years ago. And then I would love it if like maybe everybody can remember, where were you when the DAO happened, right? Yeah. And then Griff, obviously you cap it off with like I was in the shit, right? Like so here's me, Bitcoin enthusiast, Ethereum enthusiast at the time. I started reading all this stuff about the DAO, and I'm like, oh, a robot company. I want to own a piece of that. That's literally what my brain thought. I was like, I want to own the bots before they own me. So I invest in it. I'm in it. I send literature to some of my best friends at the time, and they're like, dude, I don't understand these words. And I'm like, you don't have to. Just believe, right? And, we invest in the DAO, we get all excited. And then like, I don't know, about a month later, me and Corey were doing our thing. And he's like, ooh, the DAO is like, I think it got hacked. And I was like, word? And they're like, oh yeah, it definitely got hacked. All the money's gone. And I was like, shit. Okay. And then like maybe a month or two later, I don't even know if it was that long, the chain forked, and all of a sudden I had twice as amount. I had ETH and I had Ethereum Classic. Sold the Ethereum Classic, so that was great. And that was my perspective. So I know that's short, but let's go next.
So that's a good service level perspective of what happened at that point in time.
Jesse, where were you when the DAO hack happened?
I did not pay attention to Ethereum. Like it was on my periphery. I was only playing around with Bitcoin back then. I think I didn't even join the Slack of this podcast to meet you guys until late 2016, early 2017.
Yeah, everything was Slack back then. The White Hat group that that we talked about in the beginning of this was a Slack channel in the DAO Slack.
So yeah, like I didn't participate in the DAO, didn't get hacked, didn't lose funds, but I learned about it from everybody else post, and yeah, it looks like a shitstorm. And then I watched.
It was huge. Yeah. It was like a. That made like headlines. People talk about it. Yep. It drastically shaped the course of Ethereum. It really fueled the haters, that's for sure. Like, but like, there's stuff going on now. Like, it's back, kind of. What'd y'all do? Back. What are you doing? What are you doing, Griff?
The DAO is back. We're bringing it back. We're running it back. 20%.
Like the original. Like, I mean, obviously new smart contracts because the other ones didn't work. But like,
yeah. I mean, actually, that's honestly the main reason we're bringing it back. Okay, I'll jump through Fergie's hoop here and just say like where I was when the shit was going down and maybe give a little bit of backstory of the DAO, and then we can go into the DAO Security Fund because that's a whole new thing, right?
Yes.
So I was the first employee of Slockit. I didn't found the DAO. I mean, really, the DAO doesn't have any founders. It was, launched very autonomously. It was, man. Like, I mean, we had a huge community going, and the idea was that Slockit, the idea was that Slockit was going to build this thing called the universal sharing economy. I named it, right? And we were really excited about building kind of like, imagine Craigslist for autonomous entities. A lock that could own itself. The lock would have a Ethereum address, and if you want to open it, you send money to the lock will open, and then you can get whatever's in the locker. And then, to return it, maybe you have to like hand it to a person, and then they'll like check it out and then put it back in the locker. You get your money back minus a rental fee, that sort of thing, right? And it was going to be this universal sharing economy where we could have more effective use of our resources. I was super stoked about it. I actually wrote, I have the first degree ever in digital currencies, a master's degree that I collected a week after the DAO was
hacked. He was the first Bitcoin academic.
First one. My other claim to fame that no one really cares about. So I wrote a white paper as part of my college classes about a bike sharing economy. And so I was like, I want to work in crypto and do like sharing economy stuff. The only game in town was Slockit. So I just like kept emailing them, begging, can I work with you? And eventually they were like, he seems cool. And they said, you can volunteer with us if you want. I was like, hell yeah, man, I want it. And so I actually never got paid for any of my stuff with the DAO. No, that's not true. Eventually, like 6 years later, Christoph gave me some money. For my year of
for that harrowing experience that shaped your life.
Yeah, exactly. But I was never really paid, because Slockit never really made any money. So the idea was Slockit needed something to govern the universal sharing economy. And someone's going to put weed in a fucking locker. Sorry, can I swear on this podcast?
Yes, I bet
you can.
It doesn't matter.
You can.
So someone's going to put weed in a locker eventually, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do? So we're going to have like a DAO instead of a formal jurisdiction to manage the decentralized autonomous network that we're trying to create. So we need a decentralized autonomous organization to manage the network, hence the DAO. And this is 2016. Solidity, the programming language, is 9 months old when we launch.
Brand new.
Nice.
New. And so
time flies. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff was raw and certain things weren't really well set. But we made this kind of interesting approach where it was like, hey, if you put money in, the DAO was supposed to name itself later. And it was kind of it was probably going to be called something like Genesis DAO, because the idea was it would be this big DAO that then anyone could split off and start their own DAO with our same software. And
so a little mini DAO.
Yeah. And because of that, it felt like a risk-free investment to most people, right? Because you could put in Ether
and just leave
and get DAO tokens. And then you're like, I don't like this. Burn your DAO tokens, take your Ether back, right? And so that's why it was so easy to collect 14% of all Ether in existence.
at that time,
which is now just ridiculous billions of dollars. Less billions than a week ago, but still billions, right?
You'll trap shit.
Yeah. And so, okay. So now let's speed run to the hack, right? So the DAO launches, lots of drama. When you raise 100, we had
nothing to do with our ETH at the time.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you could do with your ETH. We all put it in, all of us.
Pretty much. The whole Ethereum, I was effectively the community manager of Ethereum at that point. Like for that short period of time that the DAO existed, it was the main game in town.
For sure.
And I was managing the community and supporting the community and trying to navigate what the hell we're doing. And there was lots of drama, but the main thing that issue was that there was bugs. Everything was so raw, and there were lots of bugs in the contract, but there was one really big one that allowed a hacker to actually steal about 30% of the funds. This would be somewhere around 4% of all Ether in existence that a hacker took, right? And so that was a problem. I woke up in Mittweida, Germany, at the founder's mom's house. I was staying at his mom's house, right? And was kind of the first person awake to the news and talking to the community, like, oh my God, it looks like it's being hacked. And, I'm pretty savvy with this stuff since I have a degree. And so I'm like, oh my God, it is being hacked. I'm like demon dialing everyone. They're all still asleep. It's like 6 a.m, and so just eventually I got a hold of one guy and we got everyone around and we're just watching it drain. And so we have a call with the Ethereum Foundation. What are we going to do? It was actually Vitalik's first idea. Well, maybe we should hard fork, right? And we went through iterations of not doing a hard fork, doing a soft fork instead, and these things. But in the end, the hard fork was an amazing option because unlike most hacks, the way this hack works is that the Ether that was stolen, it went into someone's child DAO. So it wasn't just like they could sell it on an exchange. It was stuck in another smart contract for 35
It had a time lock to it too.
Yeah. So it's a 7-day proposal window to split the DAO. And then he actually split into someone else's DAO, someone else's split proposal. And so he needed to then split again into another DAO. Complicated details. Either way, we had 35 days to do. Yeah. His money would be stuck in this address. So we had 35 days to hard fork the network and be like, we're going to just like say all the DAO stuff, just like we're going to end
Didn't
it.
happen.
Yeah. Like it's still on chain. So all the, a lot of people call it a rollback, but it's not really. It was more technically, it's an irregular state transition. So there was this hard fork that was like, we're going to take all the money that was ever in any DAO contract that's still in DAO contracts. We're just going to take it all and put it in a new contract. And anyone with DAO tokens can claim 1 Ether for every 100 DAO tokens they have. And so I was in this position, like right after the hack, before the hard fork, where I'm basically running project management, product management for the whole issues, right? There was lots of things. So I was leading the white hat group, which hacked the other 70% that the original hacker didn't steal, alongside like 8 other hackers. And so there's like DAO wars, and we were able to hack the other DAOs and all this other, that was just a whole nother chaos, right? But so we were able to recover the 70% of the funds by hacking other DAOs too, but we couldn't get the main bad guy. And so that was one team. Another team post hard fork was the curators. And so even though people who are DAO token holders got all their money back and they got ETC from the white hat group, there were some people whose claims weren't represented by DAO tokens. So during the crowd sale for the DAO, people actually paid, in the second half of it, people paid more than 1 Ether for 100 DAO tokens. It like slowly the price went up at the end until it was 1.5 Ether for 100 DAO tokens. So actually Nick Johnson from ENS and a few other OGs did all the calculations, figured out who put that money in, launched a token, and gave them all a claim for that money. There are also people who split the DAO, like the hacker did, but without bad intentions. They split it according to the rules. And so they would burn their DAO tokens and get child DAO tokens. But their ether was taken from their child DAO too. So now they don't have DAO tokens to claim. So we had to fix that problem. And then there's all the other ones, which are like people who just randomly sent DAO tokens to the DAO itself.
Yeah.
Or sent ether to the withdrawal contract, or sent ether to God knows.
Back then, like it wasn't nearly as clear on like where you send money or what you do. And so people sent tokens or ether to all kinds of places, and they're like, oh, we shouldn't have done that.
Exactly. And being good guys like we were, and also being kind of scared of the whole like DAO situation, because this is bad. Let's just do the best we can, make sure everyone gets their money back. Me and 5 other volunteers stepped up to make sure all of these edge cases were solved. And that's where this part of the DAO story is actually where all of our money is coming from for the new era of the DAO. So, and it's just crazy because like, okay, all the DAO token holders were taken care of. That was 97% of the money in the DAO was like covered by DAO token holders. The other 3% were these edge case funds. And then there's like just extra bonus money that came out of nowhere from ETC, right? Mm-hmm. So all the DAO token holders got all their money back. Plus they got ETC. They made money. Mm-hmm. Then there was like the DAO hacker himself. He had ETC because on the Ether Classic chain.
Because it's forked, yeah. Like the hard fork only mattered on the main Ethereum chain. ETC kept playing it.
Exactly. The ETC is like, no, the hacker should have this money. Played by the rules, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he does.
You said code is law. This is law. It basically was the argument of Ethereum Classic.
Exactly, right? And so code is law on ETC, and so he has his money. ETC wasn't worth as much, but it was still a lot. He had 4% of all ETC in existence. And, that's a lot. And he still has that ETC. And like is selling it once in a while and taking that money back. So, generational wealth for that guy. And then, but everyone made money off this contract. Even the people on the edge cases, we made sure they were able to get their money back. And so now here we are, 2026. Of that 3%, 80% of that 3% was claimed, right? So now we're talking about like 0.6% of the DAO funds that are left over that haven't been claimed or aren't sitting there. This 0.6% just of the edge case funds, well, when we launched, it was worth $220 million, right? Now it's worth like 150 because Jesus Christ, the dump last week was disastrous. Like, oh my God.
That was bad.
It'll come back. It always does.
Yeah, it'll bounce back. But either way, and also at some points, that 0.3% was like $350 million. And so me and 5 volunteers have been holding these keys for like, 10 years.
10 years?
Publicly, like our name next to this key on a block.
How do you feel about that in terms of like personal safety with all like wrench attacks and stuff like that? Because like I know like some OG ETHs are walking around at ETH Denver all the time. Like I know some of the folks. Like how do you deal with that?
I'm recklessly optimistic. But
I know you're a big guy, but like
yeah, it helps. But and I just have this kind of feeling that everything always works out for me. However, I'm not a security dev, and the other guys of these 5, a lot of them are very security focused. And my experience over the last decade, hanging out with security devs, they're paranoid as fuck. Very risky.
I know. Yeah.
Just like it's like that's what makes them so good at what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so actually, it was the origin story of this new revival is that Seal 911. This guy PC who founded Seal 911, he was talking to Wintermute about how they don't have any money, and Seal 911 is kind of this white hat hacker group. Like the white hat group was doing a lot of what Seal 911 does now. Back in like 2016 to 2019, we were kind of, if your ICO went wrong, you called us, We rescued like $200 million from the Parity multi-sig hack. We did all this, like, you know, kind of behind the scenes.
What can we do to get this money back? Kind of like,
yeah. Is this illegal? Who cares? It's the right thing to do.
Give me the money back. It's fine.
Yeah. You know, and we're trusted. We hacked the DAO. We gave the money back. So if we hack this, everyone will know it's okay. You know, so like me and Jordy, we were like hacking all sorts of things back in the day for good.
Oh, I didn't know you were working with Jordy.
Oh yeah, Jordy Bellina co-founded Giveth with me, co-founded DAppNode with me.
He wrote the DAO contracts, I think.
Well, he didn't write the DAO contracts.
No, he
wrote Liquid Democracy
for the mini-me, Liquid Democracy, and then mini-me stuff, and the
mini-me token contract that we did with Giveth. So that was the status token.
That's what we did.
Okay, because I remember I saw Jordy on the status multi-sig contract.
He's on the multi-sig. He wrote the contract.
So I have a question. This one's going to be a deep question. So how over the last decade have you dealt with like the philosophical juxtaposition of this was decentralization? It was like it's a keystone of what we're doing, right? But when you get a situation like the original DAO, and it's you on the phone with other key people to make a very key decision that does not seem like a very decentralized thing. Is it for the better? Is it for the greater good? Obviously, I'd say 10 years later, it's been for the greater good. But
there's a carbon vote that like asked the entire Ethereum community on these things, and there's an overwhelmingly majority positive vote for hard forking.
Yeah, I mean, I think
juxtaposition.
The hard fork thing, I think we really proved that this is not. It's about social consensus, right?
Yeah.
Everybody had to upgrade their node. It didn't happen by default. You know, a lot of the hard forks that we do actually do happen by default sometimes now. Like there's a flag and you can be like, yeah, just upgrade my node as it happens, right? Whereas this one, there was no flag, right? Every individual node runner just had the choice, stay on Ethereum or stay on Ether Classic. And they actually had to actively stay on Ethereum to do the hard fork. So I would say in general, not only was there a carbon vote that was like 80% of ETH holders said we should do the hard fork, there's also the hard fork itself, which because it is a very decentralized network, it is like it's everybody had to vote. The people running the nodes are the real decision makers. And as far as the whole like, you know, leadership within a decentralized entity, you know, this is like this has been a challenge for 10 years, coming around to this idea of like, well, actually, you know, I wish humans were like birds, where they could like flock like swallows. No, or the
yeah.
We're not. That's the thing. We're not.
It's very hierarchical.
Yeah, we're tribal. We're tribal.
Yeah.
You know, so having a leader and having leaders make decisions is, I think, kind of the default vibe of humanity. Now, will that change one day? Maybe new technology like AI will be able to allow different scaling of decision making, maybe. But man, 10 years, you know, I'm very active in the DAO's communities, and without leadership, we wouldn't get anywhere. And the projects that try to stay leaderless always fail. I mean, I wish, you know, Bitcoin is probably the closest example to something that didn't, but even just Satoshi guiding it for the first few years and then disappearing.
Yeah.
His
still served as a leader, but he just didn't update his leadership.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And without him though, it's ossified. I can't really say that. That's not a fair word to use.
Yeah,
it's had some changes.
It is.
No, there's been changes. What do you mean?
But they're so slow, and they consider that a feature, not a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they changed the orange shade a little bit.
Did they really?
No, I have no idea. I'm messing with the Bitcoiners out there because they're a kooky bunch.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Bitcoin's got to come to Jesus moment with quantum. You know, it'll be a slow, like steady.
Well, it's going to have to, because those keys are
also
locked.
going to have to.
You can break them.
Also going to have to. it's also going to have to come to it's going to have a come to Jesus moment in terms of like when block rewards can no longer subsidize mining, and then you're going to have to
fees are going to cut it.
You know, yeah, exactly. If Bitcoin price doesn't keep moving up, then you're going to have to charge more for base transaction fees, you know, to keep miners, you know, profitable. Otherwise, you know, the security of the chain is going to, you know, decrease, right? So they got problems. It's not a complete protocol yet.
But once again, you still have social consensus there too. People can propose things like SegWit happened. There are things that can happen. It's just a little bit slower. Like way slower. That's not why we're here.
As a crypto enthusiast raised in the streets of Bitcoin, I will say we've had these same conversations before in the past, except for the quantum thing. So I'll say, just as an original from the streets guy. But let's get to the new old DAO. I'm going to stop calling it that because that's bad branding. Let's get back to the DAO, right? So, you know, if you've go ahead.
I can continue the thread that I had because I was going to bring it to this.
Bring it back.
We were talking about you mentioned the wrench attacks, and Jesse did, and the whole like how do we feel about that situation? And that's really what made this happen. So because initially we're like, the DAO security fund idea, I don't know, maybe we should just leave things how they are. But then so the origin story, PC, founder of Seal 91, talking to Wintermute, he's like, we got all these white hats. We can't even take money from Seal anymore because Seal is a 501c3 nonprofit. They need to know where the funds go. So Seal 911 was the flagship product. And out of that, Seal started. And Seal is doing like a lot of other larger work, like safe harbor contracts for white hats, so that there's legal support in case they ever get sued for anything. Doing like certifications and all sorts of really amazing stuff. Documentation of what best practices are to secure your multi-sigs and all things in Ethereum. And then Seal 911 is this ragtag group of random white hats that are trusted, that have like a 911 Telegram bot. Literally, like when you call 911 because you have a problem because like someone broke into your house, it's like, hey, someone broke into my crypto wallet. I'm going to call Seal 911 by talking to their Twitter bot. And that opens a new group, a new chat room on like Seal 911's behind the scenes Telegram group. And all these white hats can just help you. And just be like, okay, you need to unplug your internet and talk to us on your phone, right? Or be like, hey, you know, like revoke your approvals really quick because they haven't taken all your money, or, you know, like send, you know, do this, do that, tell you what to do when you get hacked. And the thing is, they're helping people who've been hacked. And so they really don't have as much funding as the rest of Seal and the rest of like the security industry, because the security industry is helping people who have a lot of money to protect. Easy to get money out of them. Seal 911 is like, hey, someone just lost
all their money's gone.
They're not going to be like, oh yeah, here's 10K, thank you.
I saw Zach XBT complaining about this, and I remember when Seal 911, like Samson posted about this originally, like the formation of the group and how the process is for like what you mentioned, like opening support tickets in Telegram groups and getting some support from white hat hackers. But like you said, like I just see like Zach XBT complaining about like he always gets pings from like people who've lost, you know, 10,000, but they don't tip like after he helps recover them. And he kind of like he like the public seems to have like think that he's not being generous with his time, but like in reality, I imagine the guy's like super busy with like, you know, actually profitable security work. Exactly. So like if, you know, I remember, you know, Corey and I were talking about this like a few years ago, and I remember there was like a big push to include more security researchers. And I remember, you know, Rajiv was trying to do Securium, and like people were trying to help produce more security auditors for the ecosystem because of all the security issues that are plaguing the entire EVM ecosystem. Like, do you guys still like need help? And how do people jump in and try to, you know, get into the pipeline to help?
Well, you know, it is kind of a closed group because it's also very sensitive. You know, I was actually fished just maybe 6 months ago, right? I lost like 20K making a bad approve because I was just distracted doing other things. Went into a Discord that was taken over, and they had like a fake guild.xyz. I click approve on something, and the second I did, I'm like, oh no, and so then it's like, can I revoke in time? Couldn't revoke in time. And so I just called,
it's gone.
Right? And even when that happened, I got 3 DMs from a bunch of other scammers that are like, oh, well, because it was my griff.eth address, right? And so they figured out, oh, that's Griff. Let's see. Maybe we can, well, maybe they didn't know who I am, but they're like, okay, I can find this guy. Okay, it's this guy. Okay, maybe we can get him to click another bad approve.
Did one.
They sense blood in the water fast.
Exactly.
I definitely have experienced that.
Those things are monitored. You can monitor them for those types of attacks and then go after them to follow up.
It's all on chain. You can see it. So the sharks swarm. You make one mistake, the sharks swarm to try to get you to make another. And I could just like, hey, is this guy with you guys? And they're like, no, that guy is another scammer. I'm like, I don't think that. I'm glad I'm talking to you guys because he had some good advice. He said I should revoke this other approve using his scam website, Right. So it's like having Seal 911 there is so valuable, but even I didn't tip them, because I just lost money. And I understand I'm a fucking white hat myself. I didn't even think to tip them because like I lost money. What am I going to tip them for? And so it's anyway, PC, who co-founded it with Samsung, he was talking to Wintermute, and one of the guys who works at Wintermute, he was 17 years old. He was 8 years old when the DAO was hacked, and he was like, "Hey, you're looking for funding, right? I noticed these old DAO contracts. There's like a multi-sig with $15 million in it. Maybe, and there's a blog post that says if these funds aren't claimed, then it could be used for Ethereum security." And, the claims ended like a decade ago. Because, basically when we decided to take this on as 6 volunteers, we said, we're going to do it for the next 6 months, basically. And if you don't tell us that we're going to automate most of it, but then there's all these other edge cases. If you don't tell us that you're getting this money, like claims are over January 31st, 2017. And we're going to donate the rest of the money to Ethereum security. That's what we said, like back in 2016. And so he brought this up. He was 8 years old when we said that, but somehow, he brought
Dude, there are little kids.
Did it forever.
There are little kids who dabble in this stuff for random reasons. I came across that in 2015, and I've told that before. They use it because Skrill was inaccessible to them. They couldn't get their parents to open a PayPal because they didn't have a credit card or anything. So I saw tons of kids playing with crypto, like 2013 to 2015. And we're just corroborating that. There's a lot of young folks. Yeah.
The reason I imagine you going on like a leisurely walk, Jesse, and you stumble across like a wooden of like wild kids in a like tree house. And you're like, what the fuck are y'all doing up there? And they're like, we got a whole economy up here, bro. What are you doing over here?
Dude, I mean, like, I'm not going to take over the conversation, so I'm just not going to tell more the stories that I've told before. But like when I was a kid, I also needed money, and I also look for ways to engage in like black market economies and crypto. I can see how it's very useful for kids, and they go down the rabbit hole and they upskill themselves to participate. So,
Moral of the story, parents, give your kids an allowance that's feasible so they don't get into the dark web on accident, right? They have no need for the dark web. Give them some money.
Or a bank account and a card, if they need it, because that's the real thing, right? Their kids are excluded from the economy almost as bad as Iranians, right? So, it's like, it's fulfilling a need. But so anyway, PC and Fade from Wintermute were talking about how these DAO funds were supposed to be donated to Ethereum security, and they never were. And then PC reached out to me, and I was at Burning Man at the time. But when PC reaches out, because I co-founder of Seal 911, I'm in the white hat circles. I know who he is. Like my first instinct is, oh fuck, what happened, right? Like
that's always the thing. Oh no, what am I gonna deal with now?
because Burning Man, I try to do a digital detox. I try not to be online, but when I see PC, you always answer this man, and so I'm like, oh shit, what's wrong? He's like, actually, I have this crazy idea. There's this old DAO money. There's like $15 million in this multi-sig. I was like, dude, that ain't shit. There's like $200 million over here, in this other contracts.
That's cute. Like,
yeah. So we're not talking 15. We're talking like 220, and at the time it was over 300.
No.
$20 million on the multi-sig and $300 million in the extra balance contract. So it's like, yeah, let's talk about this, but maybe a little bit later, right? And so then we start working through it and figuring out what to do. And so I bring it to the other curators, and at first the answer is like, no way. Like, why would we touch any of this money? It's finally done, guys. Like,
bury it.
We don't need this stress, right? We don't get paid for this. What are we doing? We're going to donate this money to Ethereum security. Sounds like a lot of problems. But then, we're looking at it, and Balancer gets hacked and all these AI hacks, right? And then, our keys have been exposed for 10 years. Like, who knows if some of them have been, I clicked an approve, I clicked about approve. Like, if maybe my key's been taken and maybe one other person's key is taken by North Korea, or one wrench
compromised potentially.
All. Yeah, it's a 3 of 6 multi-sig, right? So it's like, all these things combined, and it's like, wow, we actually can't do nothing, And the idea with the security fund is to is to not just like give away this money, like that it still has people actively claiming. 50 ETH has been claimed since we announced it, and so instead it's like, let's protect the money because it needs to be protected anyway. The old curator multisig, which was deployed when Solidity was only 9 months old, probably written when Solidity was like 2 months old, has bugs in it for sure, like known bugs in this contract. That is the 3 of 6 multisig, and it's enshrined. Like, we can't like change it to a new multisig, right? We're stuck with this contract, this old contract that could have a bug. So there's nothing we can do. We need to, with all the AI weirdness happening and forensic attacks, we need to rotate our keys, and we need to move money out of this contract.
That makes sense.
Why are we going to go through this stress? We need to talk to a lawyer. We need to cover our costs. If we want to move 200 million and secure 200 million like safely, we actually need money to do that. And so the idea was we can stake most of the funds while they're not being claimed, and use the revenue from staking to cover the operational security costs. That's smart. The revenue from staking will be so much that we can do a lot more than that. So and that's where the DAO security fund came through. And we needed more curators. We needed more than 3 of 6. 2 of the curators wanted to resign anyway and didn't want any, like, dude, I'm done with this.
Wipe my hands. This is too much stress. I gotta get over this.
This was a decade ago. I'm retired. Okay. And so we brought in basically the best curators we could imagine. We got Vitalik. Vitalik's been a curator all the way through. We have Taylor Monahan, leading expert on DPK. Also, her and her boyfriend at the time flipped the coin that even determined what the DAO was, right? Because when we launched the DAO and we put the bytecode out there, anyone could deploy it. And then there were 2 that were deployed from pretty anonymous sources. So it was like this one or that one. And Taylor actually flipped the coin because she was huge in the DAO community at the time. We have Jordy Bowman, right? White Hat Group. Also, he's building Zisk, which is probably one of the future clients of Ethereum when it moves to ZK EVM, right? So leading ZK expert in the world. PC, front lines.
I don't know who PC is, but I know that everybody else
in there
mentioned.
Reputable, very reputable.
Caversatio. I guarantee.
Oh, he works for Web3 Now, or Web3 security, Web3 privacy.
Probably.
Privacy?
He's definitely into privacy, and he's got negative R pseudo is his name on Twitter, and he has.
Oh no, that he's not in that. He's okay. I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So he's rock star. I mean, like no one knows. He's on the front line. You know, seeing everything. We have Alex Vandesande, who's like UX security expert. We have Lansky and me. So like I'm running the DAO operations.
Oh, I know Lansky. Yeah.
Cool. And then Lansky, pull Lansky from DAppNode because DAppNode is doing staking, and so we're not the security experts. Like I mean, I'm okay, and actually Lansky is really good at node security stuff too. We have our role to play, but for the most part, we're operational. The real rock stars are the rest of the group. But
I get that.
So we could bring them in. We moved everything to Gnosis safes, or well, now just safe. Right? Way better security. Actually, that old multi-sig that was a 3 of 6 is now a 1 of 1, which means it's just like a random contract in the mix, which is way more secure than it having a lot of power. It's also only managing 1,300 ETH, which is the ETH that we left in the extra balance so that claims could continue normally. So instead of managing 75,000 ETH, we've reduced our, by about 98% of the risk. And now it's in like top of the line secure contracts that we know are safe, earning interest. Well, it will be earning rewards by staking when the queue starts to catch up with us.
I like that. Gotta roll that back. Gotta say rewards nowadays. You can't just throw that interest word around.
Dude, I got a lawyer.
Hold
on now. We're earning interest. We're earning rewards. Great.
Yeah.
Very important distinction.
Yeah. Exactly. Jesus, the banks. Anyways, let's not go into that.
Taxes on and some things you don't. Okay. These are the rules.
Mine is not yours.
So Griff, this is a great interview because we've had multiple discussions about DAOs in the past. I don't know, what do you guys say, 3 to 4 months? Ever since we kind of re-sparked up the Bitcoin podcast, it keeps coming up. Obviously, it keeps coming up because it's such a good idea. It's not, you can't ignore it. But I just feel like the execution for DAOs, like you said, we don't swim like fish, we don't fly like birds. And I've had these stupid ideas like, oh, maybe we're getting backwards. Maybe we need to organize and then automate and then decentralize, and then that'll be a system that works. I mean, I don't know, but like, how do we elevate the execution and performance of DAOs? Because right now, everybody's let down by them. They're not fulfilling what is in there. Like, everybody's got these gigabrains and they're like, oh, it's gonna be great. It's autonomous organization. But then the execution is like, it's like 2 dudes having a private chat running how this is going. Or chicks, dudes or chicks, but
it's so true. I mean, I feel like a lot of it is also use cases. We're in the end, we think of DAOs and I always thought governments. Right? Yeah. Like I'm here to build, and I'm still here in this space. My main driver and like internal incentives or internal like intrinsic motivation, that's the word, is to build something better than governments.
Parallel state stuff, parallel network societies. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there were 3 revolutions last year. There's probably going to be 3 this year. And crypto is still not ready to be the civil infrastructure for new countries. We're not there. We don't have good private voting. A lot of I'm a huge delegate in Arbitrum, huge delegate in Optimism, very active in ENS as well, huge delegate in ENS. I'm also on the Arbitrum and ENS security councils. I'm active in a bunch of DAOs, right? And started many DAOs. And I think the governor contract that Compound did, it's horrible. I've always hated it. The goal for me with DAOs was to go past Dunbar number, right? But the goal for someone starting a company, right, that's going to try to make money in crypto, they need more something akin to shareholder voting, right? And a board, a decentralized board. That they're not actually looking to replace governments or have real stakeholder representation. They're just trying to figure out some wisdom of the crowds and get some feedback so that they can make a bunch of money building their product. And that's very different than, hey, we have these shared resources like the roads and an economy, and we want to distribute funding that we all collect towards public goods. That's not what Arbitrum really needs, So I think a lot of the DAO stuff has happened in a place where it's really just replacing a stock, and board of shareholders kind of thing. And so they don't need private voting. In fact, they're more worried about conflicts of interest. So they don't want private voting. They don't want, a lot of the things that a government would need for distributing elections and initiatives and tax money and these things. So things that I thought would be obvious use cases like liquid democracy, which Jordy built for the DAO in 2016. I haven't seen a single liquid democracy experiment that got outside of an internal group. I know Status had one, Giveth had a couple. Yeah, like liquid democracy sort of is out there, but who ever uses it? It's not like, and there's a lot of things. I would say there's only a few tools that have come out of crypto that have actually surpassed Dunbar number. Quadratic funding, the VE curve. What?
Sorry, I was going to add to the conversation, but keep going.
Yeah. Quadratic funding, VE curve, like VE BAL, VE, like the vote escrow voting, kind of this algorithmic gauges, that like, what was it? There was like a stable coin that was doing rebasing that used gauges, and then like even 1 inch had gauges, like that sort of worked past Dunbar number. And then gas voting in Ethereum, right? Nodes voting on the gas limit. That's also kind of a good decentralized vote, like node voting in general. I think there's some examples in Bitcoin too, where it's like you can, throw in your node a vote.
Yeah, a little bit. Right?
So like that's it. Everything else is like, how do we aggregate into less than Dunbar number? All the delegation.
And see, like the word DAO, the concept of DAO encompasses all of that and more.
Yeah.
And so like, it's really hard to say like, do they work or do we need better ones? Because it's like you said, it's contextual to like what you're doing and who's doing it and the right way in which that group organizes. And for some cases, like a government, how you organize and who you get representation from and how you weight that representation is very different than a company and shareholders.
Yeah. I think the thing is that you never really get rid of government because you can never get rid of governance. Like governance is how 100%. Humans communicate, right? So I don't think it's about getting rid of government. I think it's about upgrading it, elevating it, maybe changing it, but you don't get rid of it. And perhaps like the bait, we're trying, like we're reaching for something that's just way too far. Like we need to take this is a shout out to one of my favorite books I recently read. We need to take an atomic habits approach. Like let's start with like governing small things, right? Just like there's different types of businesses structures that you set up for different reasons. Start with like small governance. And then if that starts to rally around itself, you could develop a ring around that. And then there's a governance that governs the small things. Like you got to start from the small steps. But I think Ethereum and crypto in general is always like, listen, I know right now we've got sticks and stones, but we're going to Mars tomorrow. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen, guys. Like there's a lot of steps there. And the most important step that I think crypto forgets is there's social consensus that goes into all this, because we need the social consensus because we literally need the value to keep this stuff going. And if people don't believe in any of these things, they're just going to like, you know what? Screw crypto today. I'm going after Google stock, right? Like that's what the general public is going to do. I know, because I literally just had that conversation like 6 hours ago. So I feel like if we're actually going to put our best foot forward and we're going to evolve DAOs, we need to think a lot smaller. Like, hey,
to your point, like it'd be nice to see, like, for instance, there's a lot of DePIN projects in our industry trying to do something more than just, financial transactions. Like I know that like when I go to ETH Denver or all over the conferences, like people are trying to create like data DAOs or like not drug DAOs, like DAO or like random other, DAOs for everything, right?
There's drug DAOs too, like Vita DAO, good drug DAOs, not like
yeah, I'm sure there are, but I guess my point is to echo and to kind of like extend what Dia is saying is like there should be like some sort of traditional company model where there's revenue that's produced, and you can at a smaller unit, like maybe like you can think of it like a sub DAO that eventually, once it's profitable, can plug into like a governance larger abstraction DAO where they want to feed as like a not necessarily a social service, but maybe some sort of like a privatized social service that people can pay into. And I know that like, Logos is trying to work on this decentralized identity system, because at some point you do need that, right? And everybody's got one. Urbit tries, and there's other projects that are trying to do the same thing. But like, I know D tried to manage a DAO within the IFT, and there's a lot of processes that happen that you need, delegated authority to approve the next checkpoint of a decision. So like when you have, a decision is made from the bottom up, you have to have some sort of approval of checks for funding to get dispensed, like Nouns DAO or something like that, right? Where somebody comes up with a proposal, says, I'm going to make a comic book strip to try and improve the value of nouns, and I need 50K, and I'm going to produce 10,000 magazines. Like, I think we need more practical examples to what Dia is saying of somebody taking the DAO concept that can provide social services, but trying to make it into some sort of hybrid of like a traditional company that can have sustainable revenue. Because otherwise we're going to have like a bunch of nonprofit orgs where we're all dumping crypto, and then it's not sustainable financially for people to be able to participate because they don't have, infinite time to be volunteers forever.
Yeah. I mean, I got great news for you, man. We are in the DAO Security Fund is exactly this. We are in a very lucky place where we can stake 69,420 each. Yeah. Oh, was that for the meme number? But yeah, we're staking 69,420 ETH, and that is going to be a clear revenue source, right? And then with that revenue, we can actually distribute funds in a bottom-up way using DAO tooling, and that's our goal. So the goal of the DAO Security Fund is kind of twofold. Number one, fund Ethereum security. Security is one of the hardest public goods to figure out. Like, this is the police. Like in real world, it's the police. It's the it's the army. It's like always like, when you talk in the libertarian circles, it's like, yeah, but we all need nation state level protection, right? It's like, okay, well, that's always like a lot where the libertarian conversations break down. So we're going to try to approach just the focused goal of how do we make Ethereum more secure. But to fund it, we're not going to be like the 7 of us curators being like, yo, I like that guy, we're sending him money. No. Like, we're going to do one donation here next week, and that's like the only time that we will actually do a direct donation. The rest are all going to be rounds, and we're going to work with different DAO tooling providers to figure out different ways and experiment with different DAO tools to try to find good ways to distribute funds to the people who are providing security, or even hopefully figure out what projects are needed the most. And then fund, maybe we do like an RFP voting process where it's like, okay, here's these different ideas of projects that need to be done, and which idea should get like $3 million. This one, here's 10 of them, 20, right?
Yeah, good ideas.
The community will vote,
and
then we will fund the one that gets the top choice.
I too would like to. I think I've watched enough Shark Tank to know what good looks like. I'd like to.
I think the problem is like accountability, though. Like, right, even like once you dispense the funds, and even if you do it in phases, like we expect this amount of progress. This is you're asking for 100,000. We're gonna do 10,000. Get to phase 1, and there's 10 phases. Like, it's really hard. Like I see it. Some people work. Some people do it well, and some people don't. And some people just take the money and leave. It's like, how do you even solve for that?
Projects
It's a risk assessment.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Lucian. If you're watching on Twitter, there's quite a people watching from Twitter right now. Lucian actually did a project, a successful one, with being able to prove that people said that they were going to do what they were going to do, and then the funds were released. So, Lucian, if you get a hold of this, I know you're on Twitter a lot. Like, maybe join this right now and talk about that. But we'll keep going. We'll keep going with the interview.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's context dependent, right? So, in quadratic, some rounds like quadratic funding rounds or retroactive public goods funding round, it's like these are active projects that have a history of success. We're only throwing them like not game changing money. It's not an RFP, right? And it's like, okay, well, that's a little bit easier. It's like a little bit of money to a lot of projects, and the projects that get the most, it's kind of like based on donations, right? So quadratic funding, that's like one thing. And I don't think it needs a lot of like oversight. It's like, well, you're getting these donations because you already did stuff. And really the oversight for quadratic funding is the eligibility requirements, right? It's like you get in the round or not, you know, and maybe, I mean, I think we're actually working with the Ethereum Foundation for eligibility requirements all the way through, because this is a very much an Ethereum focused security effort. So EF is the natural person, the specifically the grants management team at the Ethereum Foundation. They're going to be doing the eligibility requirements and helping every round operator actually decide the eligibility requirements. But then maybe we'll also do a deep funding round, which is going to be based off of like your open source contributions, and AI is going to do something there, right? But for the RFPs, we need to have a provider, like, because the DAO Security Fund, we're kind of like low operationally. Giveth does operations, and the DAO Security Fund, like actual board, is just the 7 very busy people that will meet once a month. And our decision is which rounds are we going to run, right, with the funding that we have. And then Giveth is going to do all the operational stuff, find the round operators, collect, be the like interface, right? And then we will work with a round operator, and depending on that round operator, like if we're going to do an RFP round, we can't give everyone the money up front. That was a classic mistake of DAOs. It's got to be like milestones, and if someone fails,
you're out.
Their RFP process, and it's got to be.
The milestones have to be objective too. Go ahead, Jess.
I think do you have any foundation for a lot of this stuff?
Do you have any literature on like learned lessons from failures that you've collected, not only from like, the DAO, but also other DAOs that you've been working with? Because you said you run like small DAOs and you're part of big DAOs, like for L2s, Arbitrum, Optimism. Like, do you have like written work somewhere that like people like myself who are like, I remember I got involved with working with Corey is because like I tried to stand up a DAO by myself, and I realized, holy shit, it's a lot of work. And like Dee was saying, like we have sticks and stones, and you can't build anything reasonable because there's a lot of technical expertise required. There's a lot of expertise in the domain of like being able to secure contracts properly. Like there's just a lot of people that are needed. Like, do you have somebody like so myself and other people who are interested in trying to help out as third party people? How do we help? Like I saw Vitalik's post, like we want more people experimenting with the DAOs in the direction that idealistically why a lot of people got involved with Ethereum in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Do you have like anything that kind of consolidates your learnings from everything and gives people a good launch?
I do. I mean, we have I have I have a lot of like different blog posts that are within my other orgs, like the Token Engineering Commons and the Commons staff. There are lots of lessons and retrospectives, because that was really an applied research project. And we even shut down the Token Engineering Commons recently. And and had like it was built on a bonding curve, and so there was actually a lot of ETH that was left over, and so like we could actually basically shut down the token and give token holders the ETH left over for that was in there, and things like that. So no shortage of lessons. Like I was very involved in Optimism with the retro funding rounds, and but I wouldn't say I have it all written down. I'll be honest. Okay. I'm not the organized human that does that.
That's fair.
Hey, get yourself some agents, my friend.
I know. I need a cloud bot. Hey, cloud bot, like Moltbot or whatever, Open Cloud, whatever you want to call it.
Open Claw.
I love it.
Do you
just do like a brain dump?
Write me a blog post based off on.
I got you. I'll set you up one.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna himself a Jarvis. Jesus, man, you're looking at Tony Stark right there, but redheaded and not Robert Downey Jr.
For real.
I got things going.
Yeah, very modest DevOps dude over here. I'll tell you. But
please set up a 4D3 D3 call that we can.
Nude.
Sorry,
please.
Sorry, that's an inside joke.
For the last month, and it's not really feasible to get like a new device because there's no way I can use this device with anything. But I'm going to go to Denver next week, and I'm definitely going to buy probably a laptop instead of a MacBook. Because I also want to separate my crypto from like tooling from my actual work now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
it's just it's been too long that I've been using hot wallets.
I literally just gave advice on this yesterday.
You
need a separate VLANs, like just isolate the network if you're going to do those types of experiments. Because like Corey and I talk about this all the time. We're dabbling with all the shit, but like it's very flawed right now. And so like we have separated, isolated setups so we can experiment with shit.
Can we just pause for the branding cause right now? This man said I'm probably going to get a laptop instead of a MacBook.
Yeah,
that's how hard Apple. Oh, okay. I was about to say that's how hard Apple brands. They don't even consider it a laptop. It's its own entity, the MacBook. No,
I meant Mac Mini. That's just misspeaking. I probably will get a MacBook, like a cheap, or whatever.
Don't dox yourself.
Wait, we'll see.
So, I guess to add a personal touch to some of this conversation, man, how do you have so much energy year in and year out to continuously put the good foot forward when in crypto it's like out of 100 people, one of them is putting the good foot forward. 99 of them are like the sharks we were talking about earlier in this conversation. Like, we're here to prove, let's get his ass. But then there's one person that's like, could we not be evil? Right? Like, there's better things we could do if we weren't evil. And so you're definitely the 1 in 99. How do you sustain the energy? Is it good, wholesome food? Is it good? Is it pumpkin seeds, high in protein and good fat? Like, what's going on over there?
It's like, my diet, man. I was just eating pumpkin seeds. No, but I mean, I think that is true in crypto today, but I'm an OG crypto guy, 2013, like full on ever since, mid 2013, been like, actually end of 2013, been full time in crypto. And I think from that class, it's not 1 in 99. It's like 50-50, That's class of crypto
the ones that are still here.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely the ones that are still here. It's like 50-50 are fucking heroes, and so, I don't know. I for me personally, it's just like I've never been money motivated. I retired in 2011 with like 60K, right? And I was like stoked. I'm like,
interesting decision. That's a choice right there. Damn.
So for me, as long as I have 60K, I'm good. I can retire and live in Thailand for like, a couple of years and not really worry about it, So,
and he's good. He's someone that would do it too. So like, it's a lot of people can like say like, I'll just go with so-and-so and live meagerly. But like, no, Griff definitely has lived that life and has shown to be able to do that type of thing. So,
I mean, I still live meagerly. I basically live out of a backpack. I've been nomadic this entire time. Like, I don't
Santa costume and a backpack.
Yeah,
I really like that sometimes. I think I'm the exact opposite. When I retire, I'm gonna adopt a Wakanda accent and buy the most badass shit that I can buy. Hello, Corey. How are you today? It's okay, Corey. You can talk.
We do not do that here.
Well, no one's retiring this week. Fuck, man.
No, we're not.
Tell me about it.
Push that milestone back a few years.
Yeah, I definitely did. I mean, dude, the DAO Security Fund we launched with $220 million. You go to the DAO.fund. I think we got like 150 now. What happened? We lost like $70 million in a week.
I was very good at this game.
It's a whole other episode about what's going on with that, but we don't want to talk about those things.
We were just talking about like separating the hot wallets from the AI and stuff. And one thing that I've learned in the last year, basically hanging out with PC and these other white hats, is like the hot wallet is the biggest issue in Ethereum security. And it's not even, it's to the point of it's a systemic issue. The fact that we have these hot wallets is creating a whole industry of scammers and malware. Just the fact that they exist on your wallet. It's not just like, oh, you better protect yourself. It's and this is what's turning me around to not doing it. It's like, oh, it's convenient and da da da. But actually, by not doing it, you're kind of a dick. You need to use hard wallets, because if you're not, you're effectively like indirectly supporting a whole industry of cybercrime. And the fact that there are so many hot wallets with so much money is why there's like slaves in Thailand.
And it's also the entry point to naivety. So like whenever you're signing someone on, you give them the thing that is the most like easy to scam, as opposed to like signing them up with the thing that teaches them how to actually secure their funds and be resistant to scamming, which is the whole point of this technology. And so like,
and now we have account abstraction, right? Now we have smart contract wallets that are actually way safer than
standard
hot wallets like MetaMask.
I didn't know that.
Like they're
I almost thought that the abstractions being
built in
MFA.
Like, I mean, it's like they got all kinds of things. Cool thing. This is all started, I would argue, with Alex Van de Sant's like universal login or whatever it was. He started these things, like in earnest, and then they've grown pretty substantially since then.
Yeah, I mean, you can, with a smart contract wallet, you can put all sorts of like with Unicorn, the way like with the Ethereum app and these things, we have graduated security levels, right? Like if you only have $1,000 on it, it's not a big deal. You have over $1,000, it's like, yo, you need a go get a 2FA, right? You need two-factor authentication here. Oh, you have $10,000. Get a fucking hardware wallet. Here's a referral link, and we'll get some money too. But honestly, you need a hardware wallet. You have too much money to lose. Right?
That doesn't need to be. That can be built into the wallet. That's not a centralized kind of surveillance mechanism where like you're watching everyone's wallets and being like, oh, this one has too much money. Let's send them a notification. That could just be built into the software so that it's local.
Exactly. I mean, it's all on chain too, right? It's like, hey, your assets are in this smart contract wallet. That's public knowledge. It's one of our smart contract wallets. We don't know who you are, but you can log in with, maybe you're logging in with a hotkey. I mean, you can still log in with your MetaMask, and now that's a little less secure because now your MetaMask key gets hacked. If the hacker figures out you have this wallet, they can do it. Honestly, it's Google login is probably more secure, as sad as that is, than your hot wallet, and so there's like, but there's levels, and we can do so much more than the lackadaisical, the hot wallets that we were using with the DAO curators, they were JSON files.
And, key store files.
Yeah.
Wow. They're just key store files. Yeah.
Exactly. Because this was before even MetaMask. And
it was even probably my Ether wallet key store files, which was just a website URL.
Mostly. Exactly. And and who knows, like, what if we are using, this was before the profanity exploit and actually that library existed, but how did those keys get generated? What if there's a bug found in the generation of those keys? It's like, dude, like it's so scary these days in crypto. Like with all the new AI, like every black hat has a Claude bot or has like a open claw going, just trying to attack us, right? 24/7. So it's like, we really need to do our best to secure our crypto, not just for ourselves, but actually
for everyone else.
Yeah. Because
herd immunity. Build some herd immunity. Let's start a campaign. Exactly. So we got a short message from our sponsors, aka us.
Are you working in a job that sucks balls? Does your job suck and ergo your life? Do you want to change that because your life is sucking? Join the TBP Slack. Get a better.
not it. That is not it.
Anymore.
That's so old.
It's the Discord. It's the Discord.
What are you talking about? That was hilarious.
You can join our Discord, scan that link right there. You'll join the Discord. In that Discord, you'll find founders, investors, active developers, very good, deep conversation, security people. There's layers to that shit too. So if you get into the better chat rooms with some of the OGs, you can feel safe, that you're having conversations with people that are going to give you good guidance in this crazy ass industry. All right. And we're really keen too. We have herd immunity in that Discord. So if you come in there talking some bull, we will kick you out. Okay. I've kicked some people out.
That's invalid.
We're not good technologists though.
How? It's the same link as always up there. Oh, does Discord
link, bro?
Just go to the bitcoinpodcast.com. Just go to the
bitcoinpodcast.com. There's a Discord
link.
And then
just click on Discord there. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God. I didn't know. See, I'm a noob. I didn't know that. I thought that was a static. Link. I'm so bad at like.
It's fucking.
They have it by default.
Just go there.
It expires. So.
I redid the website. It's more like a library. It's fun. It's engaging. You can search on it really easily.
Yeah, I should write a book, "World's Worst Marketer," and it'd be
you're
me.
Pretty bad.
Tell people to go to Dead End Streets. They'll love it. Just go to bitcoinpodcast.com. But anyways, I don't want to derail. We can get back to the comment. Yeah, pause for the.
We gotta wrap up.
Do we? We have to.
I got work to do.
No, you don't. It's been fun.
I got meetings.
It's been fun. It was Friday.
I always have meetings. Don't go away.
That's right. Well, maybe I can just throw down a few random facts about the DAO Security Fund before.
Please do.
Please,
right?
Yeah.
So we have what used to be $220 million. So now it's like I don't know if it's $10, whatever. The crash has been tough, but we still have a bunch of funds that are staking, and we're really excited to fuel the Ethereum security community and be a selling point for it. And it's not going to be just us funding things, because if it's like one thing I learned from nonprofits is that if you're just like kind of YOLOing it yourself, you're going to just blow the money in the wrong direction. And so this is really, we're hoping to become a selling point for the ecosystem and to actually work with the other groups who are also spending on their own a lot of money on their own security for their protocols. Whether it's Aave, Eigenlayer, or like Arbitrum, or all these groups, they're all dependent on the security of Ethereum, and they're all blowing insane amounts of cash on security. And I know that with this shared goal, if we can build a coalition around this, we can be large funders, but we can actually save the industry money on security just by working together on solving some of these problems.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to like put ourselves in that place. And if anyone out there is like, working in a protocol that is probably spending millions of dollars on security and wants to try to reduce that spend, like, let's start some conversations. We just launched.
We have a protocol that needs auditing. Do you have a website we can go to and just jump right in and say, hey, we want to help, and we also need help?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, we launched last week. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Alpha, baby. We're getting the news.
Just wait.
Straight up front.
But I want to talk to you and understand your needs, and I want to talk to as many people as I can to understand the needs of the industry, so we can figure out what the biggest wins are and where we can step up. Because right now we have the Ethereum Foundation. They're doing an incredible job. Like, the $1 trillion security effort is just amazing. But it's really a top-down thing. And then we have like Seal and Seal 911, but they actually help everyone. It doesn't care if it's Ethereum or Solana or whoever.
Yeah, the security group.
Yeah. What the ETH security group?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Telegram
group.
Yeah.
That's great, But I think that we can be, I hope that we can have a role of really coming as like a selling point for not only industry leaders, but also users and every stakeholder in the Ethereum security vertical. So that we can figure out how can we reduce the spend and increase the impact. So anyway, that's my pitch. And I'm really excited to be able to take this role and really push it forward.
You're the man for it.
Yes, you are.
Couldn't think of a better person for this.
Yeah. Jesse, did you notice that tomato movement? Corey was like the ETH security, and Griff goes, ETH security, my friend? ETH security?
Who's right on this one?
I am.
Tomato, my friends.
It doesn't matter.
You know what time it is, Griff. You've done it 3 times, maybe 4. I can't keep track of this stuff. You know, in 10 words or less, define DAO. It's already 3 words, so just do your best. Like adding 7.
Bottom up decision making for communities.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay.
It's going in the book. Y'all will never get because we don't have that kind of time.
We got an old book.
You got AI. It'll do it for you, man.
Oh, you're so good. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do that on the website. Right? I got Claw. I got. It's fine. I got an open Claw. I'll just parse all the transcripts of the thousands of hours we've been doing.
Quotes, make a new book. Throw it on Amazon.
For all the
inspired me to write a blog post, you know, I'm not me though, of course, you know. Open
all the people that chimed in on Twitter and gave us a little bit of your time today. Thank you very much. If you go to the bitcoinpodcast.com, little known fact, we were like one of the first 5 crypto podcasts in this whole damn thing. Not that the Bitcoin podcast that seized the moment when we stopped producing, but we're like the original one. And you can go to our website and listen to hundreds of conversations, almost thousands. It's in between 1,000 and 2,000 hours of crypto content for the last decade. So do that.
And
enjoy it.
I'm making it better and easier to move around and search and find things.
And then I'm going to be deploying a token for those who want to help us provide guests, provide sponsorships and grants. We're gonna do like exactly what you guys were talking about in terms of try to create. Like we'll look at the podcast like a nonprofit, and then there's a percentage that goes to operating costs, like paying for StreamYard subscription, paying for the G Suite. It's not that much money, and then just paying out people who want to help out. It's like a good entry point, we think. So it'll roll out sometime soon.
Crowd created podcast.
Nice.
Crowdfunded podcast. So join the Discord, talk to the bot, get yourself some tokens. Anyways, we're looking forward to seeing people come in if you do. Play the outro.